Well, this is your Wednesday Insights. I'm meteorologist Danielle Noyes, and here's what we're going to cover in this video. Snow timeline so you can plan your day tomorrow, how much to expect and the impacts. Next storm Saturday night and Sunday, why we're thinking some higher totals will be possible, and what to watch next week as this active weather pattern continues. Now, it's an active country too, a lot of different colors in the map today, but we got winter weather advisories that extend from Oklahoma to here in New England as the storm system will be moving west to east. Ice storm warnings for portions of Maryland, West Virginia, and into Pennsylvania. These spots, the deeper purples, may see a quarter to a half an inch of ice accumulation, and that would result in some damage and power outages. Here at home, we may get a little bit of mix that comes into play, but we're not talking about those amounts that will come down. So let's break down the timing. I'm going to take things slow here. The timestamp is in the upper left. While there may be an isolated snow shower or flurry ahead of the steadiest snow, that would be isolated. So tomorrow morning, it's cloudy. It's a cold start. The snow has no problem sticking as this wall of snow comes in to southwest Connecticut first between about 5 and 6 a.m., advancing north and eastward. So let's put a start time, let's say somewhere in and around Worcester, about 8 o'clock, 8:30 to 9 o'clock in and around Boston. And notice the deeper blues. So it does come in. It sticks to the roads. Roads quickly become snow-covered and deteriorate as the temperatures are in the teens and 20s. So it's a fluffy consistency as well. We do get some relatively milder air that comes in along the south coast with some mixing by midday. That's the pink you see here. So we may get some snow mixing with some sleet or plain old rain along the south coast and then stretching back up to Cape Cod. The thing is, the back edge comes in pretty quickly late afternoon to early evening. So this is a thump that comes in and out. It's very progressive. So as the back edge sweeps through between about 2 and 4 p.m., maybe lingers a little bit longer. See some of this pink still showing up, bulk of it offshore, but in southern New England, there'll still be some pockets of showers, rain showers on the Cape, and maybe some light freezing rain or sleet in spots as some of that low-level moisture is in place tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. Central and northern New England, we hang on to the snow a little bit longer, right on through the late afternoon and mid to late evening, and far eastern and northern Maine with the temperatures slowly on the rise. So precipitation's done at that point, but they'll still be right around freezing in some spots north and west of Boston. And that's why I do think roads will continue to remain a little bit slick on anything untreated through the evening hours. So it'll definitely be a bit of a messy day, though the height of the storm, so to speak, is tomorrow from late morning through the early afternoon. No big changes to the accumulation map I showed you yesterday. So the whites here, an inch or two from Rhode Island stretching into southeastern Massachusetts, right around an inch on Cape Cod too. Again, it's fluffier when it starts and it's a quick thump that comes in. This lighter blue though indicates 2 to 4 inches through much of Connecticut, Massachusetts, either side of the Mass Turnpike here. So around 2 to 3 in Boston, and then amounts do ramp up the farther north you go. Big swath of 4 to 6 inches across much of central and northern New England, though the far north country, there'll be some 2 to 4 inch amounts here from the Champlain Valley and into far northern and eastern Maine. And there are some indications we may see some 6, 7, 8 inch amounts in isolated spots. Southern Green Mountains, one of them, maybe the Mount Washington Valley as well, through the course of the day tomorrow. So is it a blockbuster storm? No, but does it cause some issues out there tomorrow? For sure. Take it easy and slow. Keep an eye on the interactive radar. Great tool to have right on our app, which is free. Now, predicted icing. We're not talking about much. I want to zoom into southern New England because by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, with some of that mixing coming into play, little light pink here, Merrimack Valley, Metro West, southern Worcester County, and then in through Connecticut, even through south central Rhode Island. Very light stuff. All it takes, though, is a trace, that little crust on top of everything to kind of mess things up and create some slippery travel. So just be mindful of that. If you start to see that temperature creep up a bit and a little bit of a mixing taking place, there'll be a light glaze that comes down in those spots in southern New England. All right, behind the storm, it's all about the wind on Friday. So Friday morning, 20 to 30 miles per hour in terms of gusts, but watch what happens during the late morning and afternoon. Boom, we see some gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour out of the west and then west-northwest. So I do think some isolated pockets of damage or outages will be possible. And notice it's not like one spot. All the way from northern Maine back down through Connecticut, we will likely see some gusts 40 to 40 miles per hour and isolated 50 mile per hour gusts. The strongest tomorrow from midday right on through the afternoon. Those gusts ease somewhat during the evening, but especially during the overnight Friday and into Saturday. Still adding a little bit of a chill to the air, but no longer damaging, with winds generally 10 to 20 miles per hour. Otherwise, Friday features clouds and sun and some upslope snow showers. but we're waiting on the next storm. And that one is going to come in later Saturday and into Sunday. So Saturday morning's dry, it's cloudy, those clouds thicken up. Even by 5, 6 o'clock, we are mainly dry. The timing of this one looks to come in during the mid to late evening, continue overnight. This is a stronger area of low pressure for this Saturday night and Sunday storm, likely to take a track over southeastern Massachusetts. So kind of a classic setup here where we may get a mix, but then snow on the backside of it as that colder air snaps in on the backside of the storm Sunday morning into afternoon as everything lifts off to our east. So the height of this system will be Saturday night until about Sunday midday for many areas. And yes, there could be a larger area that sees higher snowfall totals with some mix along the South Coast, depending on track. After that, next system. This is a busy stretch for the middle part of next week. It'll be to our south on Monday. There's still uncertainty. There's a couple different series of low pressures and waves that will develop here. So while portions of the mid-Atlantic on Monday will have snow, the question is how far north does it come as we head into Tuesday and the Wednesday time frame, and can we get a storm center to develop along it? So that's something to watch for the middle part of next week before another storm as we head into Friday and Saturday. So next weekend after Valentine's Day. All right, couple quick things I want to talk about. Now, we've shown you this before. This is the 850 millibar temperature. What does that mean? The temperature at about 6,000 feet in the atmosphere. So think about the top of Mount Washington. And we talked about this on our podcast yesterday, which you can check out at patreon.com/1degreeoutside. Temperature profiles in the atmosphere have everything to do with what type of precipitation forms. So what I want to show you is that during the day tomorrow, the red line indicates the freezing line in the atmosphere. And it does come up near the South Coast during the afternoon and comes north to about the Mass Turnpike tomorrow. But again, I showed you the precipitation is generally winding down at that point. So that's why I think we get this burst of snow, and maybe we get some mixing along and south of the Pike as things start to wind down. Now, the point of showing this too is the cold air collapses back in, but the Saturday night and Sunday system, I'll stop things, is a generally colder scenario. Do you notice that classic setup where the 850 line, that freezing line, comes up to the South Coast, maybe the South Shore and Cape, and then collapses back south and east with the change back over to snow. So that's why we're thinking, number one, the Saturday night and Sunday storm is stronger and maybe a colder scenario that takes place as well. All right, high temperatures during the day on Thursday, 20s north, 30s south, the mild spot, so to speak, mid to upper 30s on the Cape where we do get that mix and changeover. Overnight, 20s to lower 30s. That wind starts to kick up. We clear the skies out. Sun and clouds on Friday, some mountain and upslope snow showers. Upper 20s to around 30 and near 40s. So actually slightly above average on Friday, but the wind is going to make it feel like it's in the 20s much of the day with those gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Friday night, temperatures drop back into the teens and 20s as that new blast of some relatively colder air comes in, setting the stage for the Saturday night, Sunday snow. Saturday's highs, by the way, pretty seasonable, 20s north and 30s south with some mountain snow showers that will continue. Big shout out and a huge thank you to our Patreon members. Each of you is listed here. We are so appreciative of your support. Our 1 Degree Outside champion, Gate City Reflexology and Massage up in Nashua, New Hampshire. You can book online at gatecitymassage.com. And Berry Hill Farm, you'll see this right on our homepage, 1degreeoutside.com. They're in Upton, Massachusetts. Find your gourmet treasures here, and boy, do they have a lot of them. Also, if you missed the naming of the baby boy goat a couple weeks ago, we've actually got a baby doe that's going to be named. You can head over to bhfarmlife.com. Right atop their website, you can see how to enter a baby goat girl name to potentially win some of these treasures and also get an exclusive 10% off coupon code for 1 Degree Outside friends. We'll see you with more weather later on today.